thank from the bottom of my heart everyone who came today. I want to start with Carlton for starting us out. Thank you, Kenny. It is really an honor for you to be here today, and for all of their wonderful panelists and moderators, for Maureen's leadership, Justin's leadership, and everybody on the board. This was the interesting thing about Grantmakers in the Arts is that this has been a journey for us intently now for 4 years. It includes all of our board of directors. It includes anti-racism training for the entire board of directors, for new board members who come on. We just had 3 people go through training this last month. For all of our staff. And for the first time ever, we had all of our sessions at the conference looked at by the board racial equity committee to say, how can we integrate a racial equity lens into all of these different areas? So it's movement in a really good way. And if we can model that, that's fantastic. If we can accomplish ourselves, it's even more fantastic. So we're working on it every day. I just want to share with you, before we leave, a blog that was just published, it's lessons learned so far on GIA's journey towards racial equity and arts philanthropy. I wrote it. I'm not going to read it to you, but there are some things that are that truly are important in this work, that we found as important. And the first was to use experts, to have people come in, to give you, like Lori, like People's Institute for Survival and Beyond, like Carlton and Race Peace, thank you. To give you a basis for communication and a way to speak to each other. So use those experts to develop a common vocabulary. Take your time. The best thing that Dr. Kimberly Richards said to us in the very first training we had was, this is not easy work, and it takes time. It takes time to change, it takes time for people to think, it takes time to debrief, it takes time to figure it out. It just takes time. So don't be hard on yourself. Stay focused, easy to have those things happen like Angelique was talking about. There's lots of messages out of there that want to detour the train. Is it, I don't know, is it cultural equity and not racial equity? It's like, really, people, we all know what we're talking about here, right? So don't let those things derail you. Send a consistent message. We tried to do this over 6 years with our conference, with our publications, with our web conferences, with everything that we did, little bit. And as I mentioned earlier, be inclusive in this conversation, and by inclusive I mean include white people. Because I think that we all need to be in this together. This is no longer a discussion for people of color or at the bar to have with each other. And if in fact we're going to have the kind of America we truly want. And this work is not easy. It's not easy. It's hard. As a liberal white person, it's really hard. I sometimes, when we were trained by People's Institute and was it Martin Friedman? What's that guy's name? Martin? Is it Martin? I can't remember. Yeah. Who said, I would rather go into a penitentiary and talk to a room full of skinheads than to have to deal with the complexity of you white liberal people. Because that's true. I don't mean that to say, and I'm happy to talk with anybody who wants to talk about that later tonight over a beer. Because there's a lot of baggage there too that is not always easy for us. But it is rewarding. It is ultimately rewarding. And the work goes on, and the work goes on with you. So thank you for the call. Carlton, thank you for the beginning. And thank you all for coming. We hope we'll see you tonight at Lisa's. If not, at GIA in October, where we continue our work. Thanks, everybody.